Lois class. Hello Matthew class. Welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson. Hope you're all well and you've managed to get onto the video and have a go at doing yesterday's maths lesson. Really important this week that you do Monday's lesson before today's lesson because they really lead on from each other. So if you're watching this without having done Mondays, make sure you go back, do Mondays first and then come back and do today's. So yesterday we thought about finding half of something. Now can you remember what half means? Half is one of two equal parts. Don't worry about the spots at the top for the moment. Remember yesterday we looked at some shapes, didn't we? And we thought about finding half of a shape. So there's the whole shape. And we thought about finding halves and we found it in lots of different ways. So we found, I'm going to quickly shade it in, there's half because half is one of two equal parts. So it's in two parts and they're equal. So there's one half, there's the other half. If we draw the same sort of shape, sorry my shapes aren't very good today. So we could have halved it down the middle. There we go, we've halved it because half is one of two equal parts, so it's in two parts and they're equal. So there's one half, there's the other half. Let's just do one more. So maybe we could have halved it like that because there's two parts and the parts are equal, so there's one half, there's the other half. Now today we're going to still think about halves and halving, but today we're going to think about halving groups of objects because we were halving shapes and making sure that shapes were in two equal parts. Well, today we're going to look at groups of objects. So what I want you to make sure you've got, can you make sure you've got your counters? It's quite difficult on this, isn't it, to see, but I've got my counters because we're going to have a go at halving groups of objects. So pause the video if you need to go and get them. Make sure you've got your counters. Now I think you've got 20 counters in your packets. So what I want you to do, I'm going to ask you to find a certain number of counters. So first of all, can you go and find, from your counters, can you get me 4 counters, please? 1, 2, 3, 4. You get 4 counters. I'm just going to try and tilt it a bit so you can see it's a bit better. 4 counters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause the video if you need to. But when you've got your 4 counters, I want you to split your group of counters in half. You should try and split them in half. That means you're going to split them into 2 groups and each of your groups is going to be equal. So here are my 4 counters. I'm going to make them into 2 groups. So I'm going to put them into 2 equal groups. So in this group there are 2 and in this group there are 2. So I haven't taken any away. I've still got 4, but I'm splitting them into 2 equal groups. So here is half and here is half. Let me show you the sentences that we're going to think about today. This is the sentences we're going to think about. There are however many counters. Half of however many is however many. So let's think about the one we've just done. How many counters did we have? 4. There are 4 counters. Half of 4 is 2. There are 4 counters. Half of 4 is 2. Let's do another one. I'm going to rub those numbers out and I'm going to give you another number to have a go at halving. Can you find please 8 counters? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 counters. You've got 8. You see my 8? Just about. You can see my 8. So we're going to split 8 in half. We're going to create 2 equal groups because that is what half means. Sometimes it's easier to do than other times. When you've got lots of them, a good idea to do is just to create 2 piles. So I'm going to put some in my left hand and some in my right hand. So I put one in my left, one in my right, one in my left, one in my right, one in my left, one in my right, one in my left, one in my right. So I've split them into 2 groups. That's the first thing I need to know, 2 groups. But the only way they can be in half is if each group is equal. So have a look at yours. How many have you got in each pile, in each half? Are they equal? So you should have 4 in each hand. We had 8, I haven't taken any away, haven't added any. We had 8. We've split them into 2 equal piles, 2 equal groups. So we should have 4 in each hand. Let's look at our sentence. Let's have a look. There are 8 counters. Half of 8 is 4. We're going to do one more and then I'm going to show you some pictures and then I've got some activities for you to do. Okay, let's do one more. Can you find, please, 6 counters, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't really see. 6 counters in my hand. So now I'm going to split them in half. So I'm going to split them into 2 groups, and each group has to be equal. Let's split them into 2 groups. So if you don't know, if you can't do it, if you can't kind of see, put one in one hand, one in the other hand. One in my left, one in my right. One in my left, one in my right. One in my left, one in my right. Okay. I have split my group of 6 into 2 groups. Definitely only got 2 groups. And my groups are equal because I've got 3 in this hand and 3 in this hand. So they're in 2 equal groups. Still got 6 altogether. I've split them into 2 groups and there are 3 in each group. So looking at my sentence. Oh, I can't get my pen lid off. There are 6 counters. Half of 6 is 3. There are 6 counters. Half of 6 is 3. Now I've got some drawings to show you now. So leave your counters for a little bit. You might come back to them in a bit. But I have got some groups of spots here. Sometimes when you're asked to do find half of things, it can be quite simple. So let's look at this group of spots first. So we've got 4 spots and I want you to find half of 4. Well, actually this is really easy, isn't it? Because what you can do is you could draw a line, a bit like it was if it was a shape. You can draw a line there. So I have split my whole, split my group of objects into 2 groups, and are they equal? 1, 2, 1, 2, yes. So half of 4 is 2. Let's look at this one. How would you group these? I want to split them in half. I want to find out what half of those are. Well, again, I'm just going to draw a line like that. So I've got half above and half below. I know that it's half because I've taken my whole and I've split them into 2 groups, and each group is equal. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Have a look at the last one. This time we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want to find half of 8. I could do what I've been doing, but actually I'm going to have a go at splitting it a different way. There. So have I split it in half? Well, let's see. Are there two groups? Yep, there are two groups. Are they equal? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So there, I've split them in half. Now, sometimes you might be asked to split a group of objects that it's not as simple. I can't see from looking at that how I'm going to draw a line to show half. This was really simple because they were all in straight lines, so that was really simple. This one is more tricky. So how am I going to split these in half? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many there are. I'm going to count. So can you count how many spots I've got on my board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 spots. You might know what half of 10 is already. That might be just something that you know. If you know what half of 10 is, you could just circle that many and then you should have 2 equal groups. But if you don't know what half of 10 is, you're going to have to use this diagram to try and create 2 equal groups. So how are we going to do it? Well, do you know what I would do? I would draw, I might draw them again into 2 groups. So I might have a line down the bottom here, and I'm going to put 1 spot in each group, just like we did with the counters. We put one in our left hand, one in our right hand. Well, I'm going to do this with those, and I'm going to cross them out as I've put them in. So I'm going to put 1 on the left, cross that one out. I'm going to put 1 on the right, cross that one out. I'm going to put 1 on the left, cross that one out. I'm going to put 1 on the right, cross that one out. I'm going to put 1 on the left, cross that one out. I'm going to put 1 on the right, cross that one out. I'm going to put 1 on the left, cross that one out. I'm going to put 1 on the right, cross that one out. Put 1 on the left, cross that one out. Put 1 on the right, cross that one out. So the first thing I need to do is I need to check that I've still got 10, because I started with 10 and I need to finish with 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Brilliant. My whole is still 10. I've split them into 2 groups. That's a good start. I'm into 2 groups. Now I need to check that the groups are equal, because that's the only way that you will know you've got half if they're equal. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Great. I have split my whole into 2 equal groups, so I have split them in half. Okay, now little activity for you to do now. Reception children, year 1s, you can do this as well, but year 1s I'm going to have a little bit of an extension activity for you. What I want you to do, I have collected here 2 of my children's toys. I've got a Dolly and Iron Man, and then I've collected 2 plates, 1 for Dolly to have and 1 for Iron Man to have. And I want you to use your counters. I want you to pick up some counters, and I want you to try and share those counters in half. So you're going to share the counters on the plates and you're going to share them in half. Now, I'm going to leave this question for you to think about, because we're going to come back to it tomorrow. Sometimes you can't share groups of objects in half. Sometimes it might not be in equal groups. I'm just going to leave that there, because tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to think about that, about sharing equally. But what I want you to do, use your counters, or if you've got, you know, toys or little pretend food or whatever you've got, share your counters, food, whatever you've got in half, so you're creating equal groups. You could even do it with a snack at home. Sometimes you might have grapes, and you and your sibling could take some grapes and share them in half so that you would have equal amounts each. So that's what I want you to do. Year 1 children, you can have a go at that. When you've done that, so you can pause the video now, have a go at doing it. When you've done it, I've got a little extension activity that I would like you to do. I'm just going to find it. Here. So this is the shape. This is the sheet I would like you to do. If you haven't got this sheet, don't worry. Ask your grown-up to draw you some shapes like these on your whiteboards. And you're just going to look at question 1. I'm going to go on to question 2 tomorrow. So you're just going to look at question 1. Question 1 says, how many different ways of colouring a half can you find? So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shapes. I want you to have a go at colouring in half on each. So let me show you on a board. So if I quickly, so if you haven't got this shape, this printed out, don't worry, because it's quite easy just to draw the shape on your board. So you've got lots of these, and I want you to think of different ways of shading these shapes in half. So the first way you might do it is shade all the top ones, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares. I want you to group them in half, which means you need to have 2 groups, and of the 2 groups they need to be equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what I'd like you to do. Have a go at this. Let me just hold it up for a minute so you can see it. How many different ways I can't read it the other way around. How many different ways of colouring a half can you find? Have a go at this. Great. Lovely. Thank you very much. Good luck with that. Tomorrow we're going to be going on, Year 1 children, to think about quarters. So we thought about halves for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday we're going to think about quarters. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.